up? It's AI the Anomaly, and I am in the field with the Trackstarz, so y'all better stay tuned.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Rachel, Shantana, DJ Jeremiah. What's good?
What's good? What's good? Make sure you check out trackstarz.com. Follow us on Instagram, like the Facebook page, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, all right?
All right, so first of all, please pray for Jeremiah. He is not feeling well right now, so he's getting checked out. So please keep him up in prayer, like literally right now. Pray for him. So, man, but we got Jude filling in for Jeremiah, man.
What's
How
up,
you
sir?
doing?
Some big shoes to fill in.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
I'm
But
a size
you got
11.
it. You got it. I believe in you.
Appreciate that.
I believe in you. All right, so we got a lot to get into today, guys. First of all, how are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. Doing real good. Just another busy week, but hey, we are in here.
Yeah. It's been a weird week. Y'all let us know in the chat, how has your week been? We care about you as well. We're also streaming live right now on Patreon, so shout out to everybody in Patreon as well. We got a lot of cool stuff coming that we got planned for Patreon. We put up probably about 4 or 5 exclusive interviews in the last couple of weeks, and we got a lot more on the way. So please go to patreon.com/Trackstarz Universe and check it out, man. Join the team. We got a lot of people joining. But first we got to get into this. So Poets in Autumn.
Yeah.
You familiar with them?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Jackie Hill, Ezekiel, all those guys. They're really good guys. I think they're doing another tour. I'm not 100% sure what they're doing, but they're doing another tour and they're having conversations on stages, right?
Okay.
And they had a conversation about toxic male podcasts. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Okay.
Rising popularity of misogynistic podcasts and sayings that are being framed as being biblical male headship, and it's presenting male leadership as kind of this domineering, kind of like, it's just given demonic, because it's not framing masculinity or leadership, I think, how the scripture does. And I think it's appealing to men who have really deep insecurities about what it actually means to be a man. And so what would you say to the question, what is biblical male leadership?
Man, I think we've adopted the world's one-dimensional perception of what leadership looks like, and I think it should not be a question in the church. We should not be uncertain about it. Why? Because Jesus modeled biblical leadership. And so we see a man that is consistent in forgiveness, and he initiates in patience. And oh no, he's weak because he's not gangster with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, be honest, you want a gangbanger. You do. You want a gangbanger. But biblical leadership is not that one-dimensional.
You don't have to pray for her. She shook her head.
She was like, yes, and is. Stop it.
You don't want a gangbanger.
Oh my God. Why don't you look for a man that initiates in the fruit of the Spirit? Kindness and humility, and willing to admit that they're wrong first, willing to be corrected first, and subject themselves to the scripture first. Y'all want a man that just tell you, sit down and shut up, and you're like, I don't like you. Oh my gosh.
Being a husband and me being a father, I think my manhood rests solely on me being assertive. Me taking initiative. Jesus took initiative and traveled all the way to Bethany. He's being a great leader. But also being a leader means stopping and being vulnerable with the people that you're leading. Wow. And so what that did for me, it challenged me that when my wife or my children, my girls have a problem, God is not just only calling me to try to take all their problems away.
Come on, bro.
First, he's calling me to cry with them first. Wow. This is also ministry. This is also leadership. This, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, I think what Jesus showed me in that passage is that being a leader is balancing this beautiful balance of being both a lion and...
So, a couple things here. First, toxic male podcast. So we got to talk about that. But also, a lot of people in our Patreon have been saying, man, we need more talks on leadership, leading as men, the right ways to do it in all different areas, in marriage, in friendship, in business, however. they've been asking, hey, do more stuff on leadership. So
Yeah.
I think this hits both of those things. But first, I want to get your take without getting offended. Toxic male podcasts. What do you think about what she said about that? And who do you think she's talking about?
Oh, I mean, there's a couple of them out there that I've listened to. You know, to be honest with you, I feel like there's a lot that we are kind of like, I think, getting mixed up with like what they talked about. You know, men being masculine, men being assertive, men being domineering. And I feel like it's one of those areas where you kind of got to just kind of read the temperature of the relationship. You know, I mean, I think I struggle with that as well because I'm so, my daughters, man, they floor me. They can get anything they want out of me. And I'm just like, what else am I supposed to do? They're crying, you know? So, I mean, I don't know if it goes back that far to, you know, relationships being with your children versus your significant other, but it's, I don't know. It's scary. I don't know if I'm necessarily feeling like they're trying to like assert biblical principle with it. I think that's just the role that we've been seeing from men for forever. I mean, my father was very masculine.
Yeah.
My father was very masculine.
He was.
And so I want to be, I feel like I'm the same way, but in our new generation, I don't feel like that's what I'm known for or known as.
Yeah, but because you're also very sensitive. Like you're sensitive to how people feel.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Big
Definitely.
time. So what's really being said here is that there is a wave of like men-focused podcasts emerging where the guys are basically like, oh, I'm sick of, you know, bowing down to women and women, you know, feminism is ruining everything and we got to stand up for ourselves and this and that. There's a lot of them coming out. I think that's what she must be talking about. Not us.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? But like, just that I've been feeling it more and more. This like this pent up frustration.
Yeah.
Where guys are being like, I'm supposed to be the head of my household. I'm supposed to get what I want. I'm supposed to da-da-da. And where the Bible doesn't necessarily, it doesn't say at all that a man is supposed to lead his family that way. So how do you see, what does the Bible say about leading a family as a man? Are you supposed to be like, where's my piece of chicken? Where's my seat? You know, like that's what I'm hearing from guys. Is like that's what they expect out of marriage.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I think well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. But I think a lot of it could come from sound bites. Like a lot of people just listen clickbaits, and that's all they're hearing. And a lot of that, you know, you got those Kevin Samuels, the Derek Jackson, all those. So people listen to the sound bite and they're like, that's all that they hear and know. But also, we don't know the training. Like where people are just talking without any training. Yeah. People are talking from their experiences. Also, sometimes men haven't had the opportunity to speak, and without proper communication training, you're just gonna say whatever. You're gonna vomit it, and then it's gonna come out. Like you may have good intention, but the way it was presented and the way all that. So I think all that has to do with it. And it's fairly new, so there's some polishing that has to do with a lot. But I also think that there's biblical, there's secular, and there's carnal. Some people are just straight carnal. Some people might be secular, and those you guys are like more biblical based. So,
but what's the appeal? Like it's like so many of them. What's the appeal? What are people getting out of listening to Kevin Samuels and getting out of these podcasts where guys are just kind of like venting their frustration with women? Like what is there must be something going on where guys are flocking to it.
You know, one of the things I see that's very it's very common on TikTok and Reels is men doing the prank with the gold diggers. You know what I'm saying? Like they pull up in an okay car and then they try to holler at a girl and the girl is like, get away from me or whatever, and then turn around and see them get into the Lambo and was like, wait a minute, what did you say your name was again? So, and I think that always sparks, some type of anger from a male community. Like, man, she's gonna curve me if I don't have this and I don't have that. So I think that's one of the things I definitely see.
You think it's guys that are passed over,
yeah,
that are
yeah,
frustrated.
I mean, just to be honest with you, we were a milder version of that.
We were
a milder version of that because, and it's funny too. And I don't want to say this, out of turn, but it's funny because back in the day, Christian men weren't being sought after. We weren't popular. Now all of a sudden you've got a church full of women, and they're bringing in people to talk about how to find a Christian man and things like that. So it's interesting that those tables have flipped because we were, and when we first started, we were in the basement, venting.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
The second basement.
But were we complaining about? Okay, yes, we were.
Yeah,
but what were we saying? Were we?
I mean, we were basically saying
saying
the biggest issue is that we date these girls who feel like we're we're bland.
We're boring.
Yeah, we're boring.
We're too safe.
Right.
Not aggressive enough.
Yeah.
This is okay. For a lot of guys, I can't excuse.
Sex before marriage was a big one too.
Yeah. We got to go through this because if you want to see the villain origin story, this is how it starts. But yeah, so if you go back, we used to get a lot of flack from our sisters in Christ, because we would complain about things because we were frustrated that we were trying to live life for God. Oh man, this is a whole nother topic. Save this, the good guy syndrome, because women hate that too. But we were trying to live our lives for God, right? Doing our best, staying pure, respectful, all that kind of stuff. And women told us to our face, you must be gay, or you must be, you're not exciting, or stuff like that. And it was just like that does leave a scar on guys' hearts to where they're like, oh, I guess I need to be such and such. I actually heard Tupac say the same thing. There was a documentary footage of him saying, he was a nice guy, he was this and that, but girls told him he wasn't this and that, so he started changing to match what they wanted. I think a lot of guys go through that experience where you see the thug, you see the athlete, they getting everything they want as far as attention. So you're like, I guess I got to be like that, and then it's a cycle. So that is kind of the kernel of where I think that starts, but it's kind of grown now into where there's just this community of guys that are hurt, frustrated, and they kind of want their power back in their minds. Like, we got to take our power back from these feminist overlords. You know what I mean? That's how they talk. So, okay, so even though the wound may be real, how do you resolve that so you don't turn into one of these dudes?
Well, another thing I'm seeing with these podcasts, and what I think is happening as well, is that you've got a great number of women that are successful.
Yes.
They're successful. And they're, the idea of, you finding a wife and her staying home and taking care of kids is out the door. That's done, and then it's just, you see them come home and you see them balance family and career. Yeah. So you kind of, I think in some way they could be a little jealous.
The guys?
The guys could be a little jealous because women are now exerting these superpowers. Super mom, super wife, super executive, you know what I mean? And so you're kind of like sitting back trying to think about like, wow, where do I come in at? Where do I fit in at in this situation? And Jeremiah's Entertainment Report talks about this as well, where he and I watched a clip, and I got something totally different than what Jeremiah got from it.
Talking about Tyler Perry?
Tyler Perry.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I felt like he was advocating for the bus driver, right? Situation where...
we'll talk about it later, but yeah, Tyler Perry has a clip. We'll talk about it.
And so I feel like that's okay. That's okay. But where we are right now with this toxic male, podcast thing is, I think it's the thing about podcasts is that they are unfiltered and uninspired books, right? A podcast is a book now. Yeah. And so you might be reading a book that's just completely not for you. And
but even
going left.
Yeah. But there's just such fervor for it. Like, there's so many guys that you would feel like you agree with completely, but they just gravitate to these things. And what's unfortunate is that I think the guys that are doing it, they saw how successful Kevin Samuels was with that kind of like harsh, keeping it real. I'm gonna just tell you what it is. You a 6, you a 2, you know, that kind of attitude. And they've duplicated it, and they saw how successful it was, where not just men enjoyed it, but it seemed like a lot of women enjoyed being talked to like that.
That is the weirdest thing to me.
So I think they saw an opportunity and they capitalized. And now there's so many duplicates of his attitude all throughout the world.
Yeah.
Or you get the opposite, where you get the Jacksons who try to do the opposite and appeal to women and be like, no, you're loved, you're beautiful, I'll do whatever you want, you know. And it's like you're taking advantage of them too. You know what I mean? Like,
because you're trying to slide.
you're just trying to appeal to them, and it's not honest.
But even with Kevin Samuel, he started off talking to men only, building them up and all these different things.
It didn't work.
And then it didn't work. I'm like, so he had to be the jerks, and that caused more attraction.
Yeah.
And typically in this world, it's, you know, those entertainment conversation will bring more viewers. And
Yeah. You know what surprised me about Kevin Samuels was the amount of people, and maybe this is, I mean, I know he did a lot of it live, but the amount of people that accepted what he said.
Yeah.
Like the
they
women were
wanted
like,
to hear it. Yeah.
so I'm not a 8. He's like, nah, baby girl, you're a 2. You're
A
a
lot
4.
of them.
And he was there.
A lot of them disagreed. A lot of them fought, but they still presented themselves to be judged. It's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And you know you had to pay to get on the live?
You did?
You had to pay. He wasn't just picking on anybody. You had to pay him.
Wow.
And then
People were paying to get
Paying.
roasted? Wow.
paying.
Well,
That's crazy.
Consultation.
So like you said, okay, if it's lucrative and all these podcasts, like the Fresh and Fit guys who kind of just got canceled, they lost their monetization on YouTube. But they were another group of guys that were like real toxic, like telling guys this is how it needs to be. Women need to be like this and that, and it works. It works. So how do you combat that when it works? You know, like you said, Kevin Samuels started encouraging guys and challenging guys to be better, right? Which was logical for what his brand is, but nobody cared.
Well,
so the question is, we're trying to do that, but if nobody cares, then people are tempted into doing the other thing.
Unfortunately, that works in a single lifestyle. It doesn't work in a married lifestyle.
Yeah, you mean the domineering man doesn't work when you actually get married?
No, when you get married,
it does
work.
not. It doesn't.
So if you're a single man, then I mean that works. I mean that's what women unfortunately like.
You don't
to
actually
hear.
have to deal with the consequences.
Right,
You just move
exactly.
on to another one.
Yeah.
But I also think that to get it in Galatians 6, it's talk about don't be weary in doing good. Like if we're doing good, try not to be weary, just to appease to the road that is wide versus the road that is narrow. So you know, it's not meant for everyone to walk. I mean, it is, but not everyone's going to be able to walk that narrow walk. And if we keep attracting ourselves to the wide that is on the road that is wide, you're going to fall off eventually. But you know, that's what it talks about being a believer. Like it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah. So what are we? If we're saying that the toxic masculine podcasts and guys who give advice are wrong, so what we're saying, what is the right answer? What is it? What Preston and Ezekiel were saying is that, you know, real leadership, real male leadership is forgiveness, is patience, is crying with your family members, is, you know, is more of a gentle touch than I'm the boss, I'm the man, give me what I'm worth.
So let me tell you what I think is happening here. I think that this is a lot like music, right? People are ingesting what they hear, and it's because they have a hard time finding their own self-identity / self-worth. And so when you're talking to someone and you're telling them how to feel, how to think, and how to believe, well, that's what hip-hop culture's kind of always been about.
It gives you a blueprint on how to be successful.
You have a blueprint of how to think, how to feel. And the issue is the same thing that we're presenting. It's the same thing. It's the same way we present Christian hip hop. The world doesn't want that because it has a message to it, right? So the same way they don't want to hear us talk about what a real man is because it has a message to it. It means you have to change in a way. You have to change what you're thinking, change what you're doing in order to come up to this level.
But if it's modeling success, I just have a question. How many of these guys that you guys listen to are successfully, happily married? Was Kevin Samuels married?
No.
Was Fresh and Fit guys married?
I don't know.
Like, we're married.
Yeah.
Listen to us. We know what we're talking about. These guys have no idea. They're still out there in the world living crazy.
Yeah.
this is not what they're saying it is.
Yeah.
You can be a man, leader of the household, and not act like a complete jerk. You can be that.
For sure.
And your wife can love you and respect you without
Yeah.
you being like, sit down, shut up, go.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be that way.
The funny joke is, you guys all thought that was me because that's kind of how I present it as a single man.
We all thought that you were what?
That's how you all thought I
That
was.
misogynistic,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
guy?
But that's because I told you all stories about my dad. Like, my
Yeah.
dad was a race car driver. My dad was my coach in baseball and stuff like that. Like, he just taught me all these masculine things that he wanted me to say and do. But then you guys were thinking like, oh, that's how you're going to be. And then when you get married.
Nobody thought that.
Y'all did.
You have some things that are like you know, you like certain programs. So I'm like, okay, Ryan's wife better be cool with you wanting to watch certain things because you don't compromise.
Yeah.
So it's like those kind of things. But I never thought you would be like what we're talking about.
Well, no,
like
no,
the Fresh
not
and
talk
Fit
to
dude.
the point. But it's funny because you get these softeners. You know, having daughters softens you.
Yeah,
Because you're at the point where you have to make like. You got to show emotion now because they're
you have
looking
to
for
die
daddy.
to yourself.
Oh my God! Well, that's
you
what
have to
marriage
die
is.
to yourself. Like
That's what
you could go in, you could go in with this attitude of I'm the boss, I'm the man, I'm the head of the household. But man, you'll be set right real fast.
Let me
give
you a quick example of how we caved. Right, I took my kids to the store because one of my daughters got good grades. So when you do one for one daughter, you got to do it for all. So I took them to the dollar store. Like, it's the only little thing we do. And one of my daughters, I left my wallet at home. So I was like, I'll go home, get my wallet, come back. I'm not bringing you all back because this is a chore, right? Going to the dollar store, letting y'all pick stuff out. So I put everything at the front. By the time I got back, they had already put the stuff back. So I had to remember by memory what they had, right? So this was last Friday. So between last Friday, my daughter was crying about one of the gifts she didn't get, one of the toys she didn't get, right? Between last Friday and Saturday's show, my wife and I both went back to that store looking for that doll.
Wow.
So when I called my wife to try to see if my oldest daughter could tell me what it was, and she wasn't picking up. So I just left the store. And I got home and my wife was like, oh, we were just at that store. So we were just trying to appease the youngest because she was crying for 2 nights or for the whole night. But that was me softening up because I was like, I'm not buying anything else to Christmas. Don't ask me no more.
Yeah.
You know? But then I was like, no, she wanted this. She saw it in the store.
Yeah.
She said, had her eye on it. Her mind is on it.
Yeah.
Because she asked me 3 times Friday night after the store was closed, Daddy, are we going back to get my doll? Daddy?
You think that's how God treats us? Like you sound like the parable of like
pretty
God,
much.
If God will do this for it sounds just like that.
So, but we ended up softening and caving to let her get this doll because it was all on my mind. I was leaving the show last week and I was like, I'm stopping by that store to get that doll. I'm not going home and having that
So
conversation.
real quick before we end, Eagles to the Grave said, you're married before 2010, right? Way different ball game,
No,
fellas.
we weren't married before
We
2010.
weren't married before 2010, but close. It's not like he's way off, right?
11. I mean,
He's not way off. But what they're saying is, things are different now, and we just don't get it.
Yeah, the
well,
game.
Are we out the game? Like we
No,
just
no,
don't get
I
it.
think the only is Eagles to the Grave single
I guess that's
because if he's because my thing is this, I think we're out of the game. But
saying it's a lot worse out here.
What is it for women though? Are the women worse?
I don't want to speak for it.
Okay, so
I can assume a lot.
I'll tell you this: I've been watching a lot of the Harley initiated guys ever since D1 went on, right?
Yes, your favorite podcast.
And I was listening to. I told you guys about these 2 young ladies that were on there, social media influencers, and they were trying to talk about how they like not so much trick guys, but give them tests.
Mm-hmm.
If you're giving me a test, we got a problem.
So yeah. So that's what I'm assuming they're saying. Eagles to the Grave is that women and men are different. I'm assuming women are different out here right now, and it's a lot more difficult. Y'all tell me what you mean by that, and we'll address it on the show. But okay, yes, we've been out the game for a while. So you have to explain to us what's so different. What do we not get? And we'll talk about it on here. All right. Let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go. Hey, I know how hard it can be. I'm an artist as well. And whenever you release a song you think is dope, you're like, man, this is going to be the one. You have to go through the process of marketing. That's the hard part. That's when it really, really, really gets serious, right? Because even if you got a dope song and nobody knows about it, it's going to be a flop. So if you know the process, that means you got to go to each website, follow their submission rules, email them, do whatever they need you to do one at a time. These outlets do not like to be spammed. They do not like to be put on BCC lists, email spam lists. But never fear, we have come up with a way to solve this problem. We created something called the Single Maximizer. Single Maximizer allows you to fill in the details for your song one time, and we customize it for each outlet and send it out to all of them for you. Not in a mass email, not as spam, individual emails customized exactly what they asked for in their music submission guidelines. It's an amazing tool. We use it for ourselves and our own music, and we're trying to share it with you guys. So go to trackstarz.com/single maximizer. Take advantage of it right now. It's an amazing tool. Check it out. Let us know your success stories. Tell us what works. Trackstarz.com. Go check it out right now.
What's going on? It's your girl Angie Rose, and if you didn't know, you're La Familia, and you're in the field with the Trackstarz.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah was good.
All right. Entertainment report time. Let's get it. So, first of all, y'all, let's pray for D1. Prayers up go out for D1. He lost his grandfather this week. I'm not sure if you think about the Against Us video.
Yeah.
His grandfather is at the very beginning of that video telling us or at the end of the video, telling us to be real, be righteous, and be relevant.
Yeah, he always talks about him.
Yeah. And so I know that was a big staple in his life. So y'all make sure y'all continue to pray for D1. I think we might have him in studio soon.
Oh,
I've been talking that up with his people.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, is Tyler Perry telling black women to settle? This was interesting because I watched the clip, Jeremiah watched the clip, and we saw two totally different things. Did you watch the clip?
I did.
Okay, so did you get something different than what me and Jeremiah got? Let me just read this and y'all get the reaction.
Okay. Just the gist of it was, if the woman makes more than the man, as long as he's treating you right, you should still.
That is the gist of it.
Okay,
Yeah. So Tyler Perry was on Keep It Positive, Sweetie podcast and had some controversial statements about relationships. I might get in trouble for saying this, he said, but I will say it. In our society right now, black women are making a lot more money for the most part than the men. The prolific entertainer began, if you can find love, if that man works in whatever job he's doing and he's a good man and is good to you and honors the house and honors his wife, and does what he can, that's okay. As long as he's secure in himself to know that, yeah, she makes most of the money, I can still pay the light bill here and there. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, that's fine. What do you think about that?
It's interesting because he's like super rich talking like this.
Yeah.
So that's the first thought I had. I mean, of course, my wife makes more than me. Mm-hmm. Don't bother me none. Don't bother her none, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In theory, my wife makes more than me, but I'm in a commission job now, so it could be
catching up.
Could be catching
up. There you go.
But the thing is that I actually honestly felt like this was a advocate for the bus driver. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a man is doing the best that he can, being the best person he can, and he's doing a job. He's not sitting around trying to live off you, but he's getting up. And I say that because I know that personally a story of men losing their jobs and going out and getting whatever they can to support the family, even if it means they would feel like, oh, this is beneath me in the real world, but in reality, I got to keep this mortgage.
So what was Jeremiah's take on it? I can't remember.
So Jeremiah's take on it was, were they telling men to settle? Right? He texted me too.
Men to settle or women?
I'm sorry, women to settle. He texted me. Let me see exactly what he said.
Okay, so while you looking that up, what's your take on it?
I mean, I think that type of man is going to have work ethic, and he's not going to stay at the level he wants right there. Like, if he's describing he's honorable to his relationship, honorable to all that he's doing, he's also going to get better and find a better position, a better job, especially if he's being led by God. So I think he has all the characteristics to do better. He might be in a season where he is building financially. Does not mean that he's just going to stay there. And I don't think that it's a bad criteria to look for in a woman when a woman looking for a man. And again, the woman, each party are working on something to get better at.
Yeah.
So just to say that he financially might not be secure or rich, your patient might be poor. Your giving might be poor. So it's something that I just feel like if they have these type of characteristics, he'll be able to get a better job if finance is one of the things that he's working on.
I think this means a lot to Tyler Perry because he was homeless and he grinded to get to where he is. And I think he's feeling like if a woman wouldn't have been patient with him, he may not have gotten to where he got to. So what did you find? What
so
did Jeremiah
Jeremiah said Tyler Perry is the new Kevin Samuels. And I don't know why. And when I think about Kevin Samuels, that sound like the total opposite.
Well, no. So Kevin Samuels to me was just a rude person.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it was.
He was always saying
Tyler Perry
that
wasn't being rude.
He was always saying that women didn't measure up to get a high value man, right? And so, in my opinion, Tyler Perry's not saying don't go. Tyler Perry's not saying wait for your high value man. He's saying wait for your go get your quality man that you can get right now. Like don't, because I don't know if this is true. I will say I get this temperature sometimes that some women are waiting on men to get to a level that they can see themselves saying yes to. And that to me is what I think is causing a big stink in the church.
But are you sensitive at all to what he's saying? Like, is Tyler basically setting up a lot of women to settle?
No.
Because I think there's a difference between somebody who just makes less than you, maybe by a little bit, and somebody who's just not a good person.
Exactly.
And they don't try. And I don't think anybody needs to settle for anybody who's not working their hardest and actually getting some results.
But what age and stage are we talking about? Are we talking about somebody in the 35, 40s, 20, 21? Like somebody's 21. Come on. The man just got out of college or whatever the case may be. 25, still 27. And her too as well. So I think it depends on what stage we're talking about.
Yeah. So Pastor Damian Boyd is listening. He sent this to me. He said, in a society where black women are more employable and move up the ladder faster, if we tell them it's settling to marry a good man who makes less than, we're telling black women that they have a right to give up on black men because society doesn't value those men as highly as they value the women.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. I see this as a problem as well. The higher women climb up that ladder, the less likely a man feels confident to approach her, and that's a problem too.
Possibly, but
but that's on the man, not the woman.
Again, we're only talking about good guys who love Jesus, who are super committed, who are taking care of you, that are working hard. They just happen to make less than you. We're not talking about deadbeat dudes that are dragging you down and all that kind of stuff. Get rid of them.
I think to most women, that man is going to experience what we experienced when we were feeling jaded by women. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that you present all those great things, and a woman in the world is not having that. And you don't know who you're approaching when you have that situation. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't know if she's saved before you approach her, unless you're in the church and you had your eye on her for a minute and you've gotten wind of that. I think that's kind of the safety net that we all had, is that we all found our wives in the church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, okay, I can check off my mind that I need to do a temperature check for this. See what I'm saying? So I knew, okay, she most likely isn't a gold digger. She most likely isn't into superficial things, right? Just checking these things off, that I can get her attention with my love, my attention. Like, there's other things that will get her attention that make me look good versus the type of car that I have, my education status, and my degrees or whatever. So I think that's where it gets...
But can we also see if the man is making progressively more than he did last year? Because he's only comparing himself. If he ain't growing, like, I can't say your standard is the amount of money I need to make. My standard is I need to continually, year after year, month after, getting better and in my calling versus my purpose versus my profession.
Yeah.
I think the hard thing about this is that women deal with so many deadbeat dudes that this sounds like we're making an excuse for the deadbeat dude.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Robert Kiyosaki had his wife living in their car, and you see how that turned out for him. See what I'm saying? Like, she stuck by him. She wasn't like, oh, we're sleeping in the car tonight, I'm out. See you later. No, she stuck by him because he had a dream. He had a vision. He was working on something. And I think a lot of guys are working on something or have a dream or a vision, and they might need the right person to come along and say, hey, I need you to put $25,000 down on my vision, and then we'll see this thing turn into $200,000, $250,000 a year later.
I just want to build some guardrails around that because I know a lot of young women are dealing with bad dudes. So let's just, I just want to protect them from, don't give nobody no excuses if they're a bad dude.
Yeah.
Please don't hear it. This is the heart I want you to hear, and y'all could yell at us or other podcasts could yell at us. But I think what a guy who is legit is saying is, that belief in you and your vision and what you're working on means everything to us. It means everything to us. And if there's any sense of impatience or looking down on us just because we happen to make less, could really, really stunt our growth and development because it hurts.
Yeah.
So guys like that you see diamonds in the rough they have a vision, they're working towards it, they're doing it the right way. You got to support them. Everybody else, get rid of them.
I got a bad question. I got a bad feeling about this next question I'm about to ask you. Yeah. Has the world gotten a hold of most of the good Christian men, and the men are feeling like they need to look more like the world in order to, like, feel validated and feel confident, and like, are they looking at, I got to get this car, I got to look like this on Instagram, I got to get this Instagram model or this?
Are you saying are you saying that guys have made up this requirement in their own minds and women aren't really requiring it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I think a lot of women are requiring it.
No, I was asking you if good men of God are going to the world for their validation.
Of course.
So much more than they are getting their validation from God.
Yeah, but I would
church.
say if you are that good man of God, you won't be if you keep doing that.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the problem why women are struggling to find good men of God, because the good men of God are heavily influenced by the world.
Yes.
Sad.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Next, No Big Deal responds to Show Baraka. So No Big Deal took issue mostly with Bring Jesus Back in his top. In his
top
10.
Y'all talked about it last week. Yeah.
His 10 reasons that what CHH needs, and then also he took concern with Learn English portion.
Oh, because they're not lyricists.
Yeah. And so then he gave an example like, well, what about, the Jesus-centered artists like Wande, RG, Zanti, Hovey, Scooty Wop, Indie Tribe, KB, and all the others. Like, that's just not fair to say that Jesus isn't in the music. And the discourse took them into the comments with Dill and Show Baraka, and they actually got a chance to talk about it.
Show Baraka responded?
Yeah. So they actually got a chance to talk to each other, which is, they came to an understanding. So that's all that matters.
What did Show Baraka say? Did you see what he said?
The discourse then took them into the comments with Dill. No, Jeremiah didn't put that in.
I would love to hear how he responded, because I don't know who Show Baraka had in mind. I can guess.
I can guess too.
But it's interesting that Dill took offense to it. I guess because in Dill's mind, he's doing it. His friends are doing it, so who are you talking about? But I think for the old heads like me, apparently now, the old heads like me, it's just a general sense. It's not anybody in mind particular. It's just a general sense that things are not the same anymore.
I don't know, though. Whenever you make a statement, you always have somebody in mind.
I think he has one particular person in mind, but it's not who Dill thinks it is.
Yeah, but then if I don't know who you're talking about, I'm still going to take.
But how much of that is hit dog holler? Like, hey, don't you got to be careful a little bit when you, because what if he wasn't talking about you at all and none of the people you talking about?
Yeah, but you can still be feeling that way a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I have a feeling of who Show Baraka has in mind.
Yeah.
And I don't think Dill is. It's not Dill. It's not Wande. It's not Miles Minnick. It's not. To me, it's not anybody in particular. To me, it's more so just a general sense of young people's focus seems to be not as much on God. I think that's what he feels. Not necessarily that I can prove it to you when I pull your song out. It's just a general feeling of where people are moving towards. I mean, you have to admit that there is a change. We've been in here a long time. We've been doing this since 2005, 6.
Yeah.
There has been a shift. Now, when you look closely, they had the same problems as these kids have.
Yeah.
They had the same problems. They just hit it better, right?
Yeah.
But there is a general sense that their things are changing. I think that's what Show is speaking to, not necessarily. And I don't even think he's just talking to Christian artists. I think he's talking to music in general, that lyricism is not as important. Deal is a bad example because he's a great lyricist. Yeah. So he's like, he ain't talking about me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, you are good. But not everybody is good. There's a lot of your friends ain't as good as you. So you know that, right? So it's a general feeling. I don't know if he'll accept that. But I want to see what Show Baraka said back to him to squash it. Because honestly, I was surprised that he was offended. Yeah. Because obviously it's not him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the comment section this week, Tadashi, Dead or Alive Part 1. Elohim elevates. Spencer for Hire, Fail in Flight. D-Lane, In My Own Lane. Single, Stephen Malcolm, Cardio. John Keith, Bobby. Caleb Gordon, Yesterday Is Gone. Ty Lynn, Chosen. Truth Bill B on Untitled. Mike Wise. Flight Night Cypher. Flawless, Real Talk, Revelation. Ehud, Jack Rip. Prove 'Em Wrong. And the Milk and Feel Good playlist. Y'all go check them out. All right.
Jude, tell them a little bit about yourself, man.
What's up? Well, my name is Jude. I'm the owner of Buff Believers United for Fitness. Did you know that Christians are 30% more overweight than any other religion? Young adults who attend church once a week have a 50% chance of becoming obese. Leaders are 76% more overweight than the congregation. And Georgia ranks 50 out of 51 state in mental health assistance. Wow. So what I do, I provide faith-based fitness training for churches. I also have a gym that provide not only physical training 101, but life coaching for free and spiritual development. Because getting in shape is more than a physical journey. We believe in 80% nutrition, 20% fitness, 100% Jesus. So I just kind of bring faith and fitness together. The church often talk about faith, which is biblical, family, finance, and fellowship, but we don't talk about fitness enough. And one of the ways how sin entered this world is through the choice of food. It was the choice of food that got sent into this world, and to this day, it's the choice of food that we're eating that's harming our body. You know, if the Bible talks about flee from fornication, but we can't flee from ice cream, we got a discipline problem. You know what I mean? He want to say taste and see that the Lord is good. Well, taste and see that working out is good for you too. You know? So yeah, Buffett is, and we also provide faith and fitness 5K runs. So we did 2 so far. Most of the time when we see 5K runs, we see Pride Run or Santa Claus or different types of 5K, but nobody's really running from Jesus. So we started doing a 5K walk, running walk nationwide. So we did 2 in Georgia so far. So next year we're looking at Georgia, New Jersey, Florida, and a couple of different states. So we're just trying to unite literally fitness together.
That's really cool.
So my wife is asking, do you do virtual workouts?
We can do virtual workout. Well, Energy Fitness Atlanta is hit me up on Energy Fitness Atlanta for the training, and Buff Lifestyle for more of the physical and spiritual element as far as 5Ks, and our brand shirt as well.
Awesome, man.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks for coming and sharing with us. All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
Miracle. I wanted to make sure you guys know all about the official Trackstarz Universe. So if you'd like a free Trackstarz t-shirt, yes, as well as free merch, discounts, and exclusive content, and of course, direct access to your favorite radio host, then this is for you. Make sure you go to trackstarz.com/official. That's trackstarz.com/official.
Yeah, back in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Was good.
All right, make sure you go check out Nectar Distribution. Nectar. Nectar is an opportunity for you to put your music out there to the masses by over 200 plus digital outlets. Keep 100% of your royalties and join the fam, all right?
Okay, so you guys know about 3-6 Mafia, 666.
Yep.
So they were on the Breakfast Club, and the topic came up of was 666 demonic?
Yeah.
And this was the response.
I know you to say that the music that you guys put out, how bad did that affect y'all?
Man, the music, to me, the music, I mean, I'm a church man, so I looked at this like, like, there ain't no devil worship, so, ain't nobody, what I'm saying, worship no devil, touching a Ouija board, or whatever y'all think it is. No, I just looked at it like, hey, man, it is what it is, but I felt like we had to clean the name up, so we changed the name to 3-6 Mafia. Because I felt like everybody was scared. Record label was like, I don't know, man, I don't know. We might want to sign, we might don't. So it was whatever, man. We changed the name up, and then things started coming together.
You even say in the book how that the 3-6 Mafia thing, the devil worship thing, was kind of a gimmick.
That's what I felt. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see nobody worship the devil, so I just looked at it like a gimmick. I didn't look at it like it was really worshiping the devil. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like Memphis was a dark city, so it was a dark time. So 666 Mafia was perfect for that at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because Memphis is still dark, but it was like just it's crazier now than back then. But that's what I'm saying. I was coming from that, so it was cool. But then like later on, we started making more music. A couple more. I think we brought this album out called The End. We had changed everything. We went from 666 to 3-6. And it was better. Our sound we stepped our game up on the sound. We had a couple of records on there that was a little bit more radio friendly. Nobody wanted to play on radio, so we had a couple of records on there radio friendly. So yeah, man.
So do you guys remember when they changed from 666 to 3-6?
I do.
Did you know it was for that reason?
No, I thought it was a play on words. I thought we were saying 666 at one time, and then they just went to 3-6 because it still means the same thing.
You remember this?
Yeah.
So okay, I definitely remember that change, and I did suspect it was because of that. What's interesting, what's our guy that left 3-6 and became a Christian rapper? Mr. Dell?
Mr. Dell, yeah.
So yeah, we heard a little bit of his story as well, where he said he had to leave that and kind of find God. He was a producer at the time, I think. This is interesting. My experience with them is I remember them as a kid being like, why are they claiming this thing? So if you're not familiar, I assume all of you guys are, but if you're not familiar, 3-6 is the mark of the beast described in Revelations as a way, to claim your allegiance to the Antichrist, and if you didn't get the mark, you weren't going to be able to do certain things like buy food and stuff like that. So it was a way to kind of separate out people who are still believers in Christ during the end times, and then they'll be killed and hunted and all that, right? So it has a very demonic connotation to the number. So when they chose it, I'm like, why would they choose that? You know what I mean? And we always come in here and we speculate, well, at least me, speculates that are these people just trolling us? Do they really worship the devil? Or are they just think it's funny? You know what I mean? Like, why would you willingly take on such a demonic persona?
Yeah.
Do you think this means that they felt that way about it, or is he lying?
Nah, I mean, first of all, I have some. We have a close mentor that's very close to 666 from Memphis. That's not what they're on. They were never on.
They were
that.
never on.
They
it.
were never on that. Yeah.
So this is. I think he said he was a preacher's kid.
Yeah, and I've met Juicy J.
Why would they do that as a preacher's kid? Why would you want that on you, even if you're just playing around?
It's clickbait. It's today's clickbait. Everything is to get you to click on it, get you to notice it, get you to see it as different. And it works so well. It works so well to tell people to go in the opposite direction, and then you pull them in that direction.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, it's like the whole, I talked about it last week, Doja Cat. Yeah. Right? You have a song called Demons.
Yeah.
But you got 30 million views on it. So why
that's what I'm
do you
saying.
have 30 million views on it? You see what I'm saying?
Are these trolls? Are these ways to just rile up Christians to get attention? That's what it always feels like. And is it possible that they don't know what they're playing with?
I think Christians buy into it. I think they're buying into it. I can't tell you the number of people who say Beyonce is just being Beyonce. Don't listen to all that.
Oh, we get the comments. We get the comments on our videos. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they buy into it. They believe that, and I'll be honest with you. I felt like the Beyonce crowd when I came in here and defended the "I'm Every Woman" song. When I was like, it's just lyrics. It was Whitney Houston. It was one of her best. Why would CC Winans be so
A lot of people
against it. Yeah.
They ignore lyrics,
And
especially
then they did a song together eventually, right? And so the thing is like, were you against just being in the video with the lyrics of the song, or are you against the person for doing the song? Because
So I think you're saying the right thing. Like a lot of people ignore the seriousness of what they're doing spiritually because of nostalgia, because it works, because of things like that. Just yesterday, a song popped into my head. I wish it was my wife on here. What song was that? It was the one where it's like Lisa. If I take you home tonight, would you still be in love? That song, you know what I'm talking about? And I was playing it because it popped in my head, and I was like, I ain't heard that song in a long time, and I played it, and I was playing it around my daughter, and my wife was like, why are you playing that around my daughter? I was like, I don't know, I didn't even think what she meant. You know, like the lyrics are very clearly not good. But it's just it goes into the space in my brain it's just old music. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's like, wow, like we really ignore how serious some of these things are, and like I don't want my daughter thinking about that at this age. So it's like, oh, cool. Yeah.
I think sometimes when we listen to music, if it serves us, it's like, all right, cool, whatever. But even with 3-6 Mafia, I Get Fly. In the background, it's just say, Lucifer, he's our king forever. I don't know if you ever kept that.
Yeah, he says he's our God, he's our king.
Yeah.
Like that.
Who's that?
He's our God, he's our king. It's the
I want to get
stay
fly.
I'm gonna stay fly.
Yeah.
He says that in this song?
In the background. He's our king.
Why would you
But
play
see, here's
with
the
that?
thing. Here's the thing, though.
That's so crazy to me.
People debate those lyrics, right?
They
I've
say
heard
he didn't
people
really say
say
that.
he's our God, he's our king. And then I've heard people say we stay fly, we stay something like, and it could be either one, right?
He's like, nah.
But you'd have to go read the lyrics. You'd have to go read the lyrics.
Yeah, but who wrote the lyrics? I mean, if you go on Genius, you can submit your own lyrics on Genius, but a lot of times those are user submitted lyrics. So it's like they can always debate it.
And to me, it felt like, the whole like bombs over Baghdad. Like people think they know what they're saying, but who knows really, right? It sounds like two different things. So, but for me, I still feel like, 666 Mafia, 3-6 Mafia, it still meant the same to me.
I never
saw it
understood the
change.
difference.
Like, you would have had to be like,
nobody bought it was 36 Mafia.
Yeah. You would have to been like, this is Memphis 6 Mafia for me to be like, oh, they changed that.
Yeah, the change made no difference to me. I was like, it's 3 6s, 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to bring this up because a lot of Christians, because I believe he's being sincere that I was just this was just a gimmick or whatever,
and it worked.
But it's like, man, we gotta stop playing around with this.
Yeah.
We gotta stop. Even if it works, don't do it. Even if it works.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like goes back to Pastor Troy. Like, I never understood why he would call himself, a pastor of disaster.
That's
why you want to? Yeah, he was the
said.
pastor of disaster. That's what his name was. He was like pastor of disaster, and I'm like, but why? Both his parents are pastors.
Yeah,
he's a preacher's kid.
Well, he lived up to the mantra.
Why? But you know what I noticed though? Pastor Troy got recognition for being Pastor Troy. People were already intrigued that this guy was calling himself.
The pastor part got him more attention.
Yeah, pastor of disaster, and then the fact that, that was the intrigue behind him. Who is this guy calling himself Pastor Troy, who's clearly not a Christian artist, right? Who made one of the best anthems in the world to me.
Okay, you all right?
Oh yeah, I was having that.
He just went back outside.
Alfie knows she's going through it too, like that. Woo, like, ain't no more playing GA.
Still got a hold on you.
It does. Yeah.
Loosen.
It does.
Loosen.
Yeah, if you're from Georgia originally, like, ain't no more playing GA. You lose your mind when it comes on. You do. You do.
Oh man, we just met him recently.
Yeah. It's not like
belt.
he still had the belt. Yeah. It's,
he be at all the Falcon games.
Yeah, that's what we know him for.
So all I'm saying is it's interesting that Christian biblical imagery is used to make money without glorifying God, and I think that's a lot of people's problem. Yeah, they know what they're pulling from is powerful, and they're using it to make money for themselves. Yeah, that's like the whole. Yeah. That's the whole point of the Bible right there is taking glory that belongs to him and using it for yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, I hope that they get now. It sounds like they do get now that it was silly to do that. And I hope they do use their whatever attention they still have to correct that.
They use a lot of imagery with that. They use a lot of imagery with that. Coops Tanika, he always had like the things coming out of his nose, the scepters and stuff like that. It was crazy. They would say really dark stuff too on their songs.
That's crazy. Anyway, all right, let's take a quick break, and we're coming back with one more before Line for Line. All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Track Stars, Ryan Wright, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
It's your girl Drinking Soul, aka Bars and Baby Hairs, and you are now in the field with Trackstarz.
All right, back in the field with the Track Stars, Ryan Wright, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Was good.
All right, this segment is sponsored by Flavor Fest. There are tickets available for the event in November. Make sure you go out there. By the way, Trackstarz is doing the Trackstarz Beat Battle again this year. So if you know someone who's interested in battling at Flavor Fest, make sure that you let them, they DM us on Instagram.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, DM us on Instagram so you can be considered. I got a whole list of folks that I'm reaching out to from the past battlers, the past winners, to see, how we're going to make a go of this year.
Okay. Have you heard of Sexxy Red?
Yes.
You like that transition?
Yes. By way of my vomit, yes, I have.
I actually don't know much about her, but
I did research. So
you did research. Oh, good. So this young lady has a problem with Sexxy Red, and I want us to react to what she said.
Otherwise, the Sexxy Red is not an industry plant that was put here to help finalize the destroying of the black woman image. They was already had us under attack, and she was here to just finalize the process. The way they trying to force her on us is just crazy. I wanted to go see Drake, but once I found out Drake had her opening for him, absolutely not. Absolutely not am I going to support anything that thing is behind. I'm not supporting it. This is the reason why it's time to separate. It's time to separate as black women. Because ain't no way I'm about to be associated with that and Suki Stankiana. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I don't care how you feel. At this point, separation has to happen. It's one thing to make trashy music. That is a different level of trash. That's a different level of trash. Kaya's My Neck, My Back, it was bad.
It was.
Trina and Trick Daddy's, it was bad.
Yeah.
But that's a different level of dirty stank music, right? It's just a different level. It ain't never been that bad. There is lyrically nothing that this woman is saying. She's just saying a bunch of vulgar, disgusting, nasty stuff. It's not even music, right? And this is why I know that she's an industry plant. It is not music at this point. It's just seeing how much nasty, vulgar stuff she can come up with out of her mouth, and how disgusting and distasteful she could present herself in public to help destroy the black woman image. Trying to portray it as if we all Pookeishas. And if you don't think that this is successful, just look at what hip hop and stuff did to black men and how it had people stereotyping black men as criminals and thugs, right? Even to this day, black men are still fighting to get away from that stereotype. But as of now, black women are under attack. Because this Pookeisha image that's being pushed is what they trying to define us by. You ain't going to define me by that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. If they want to be ratchet, stank, ghetto, promote that, do you, right? And the sector of girls who fall under that category and that aesthetic, have fun with it. I don't want no parts. And the other halfway decent women don't want no parts of it either. Like this whole narrative that's being pushed that all black women are so hypersexual because every time you cut on your radio, every time you cut on your TV, all is these over hypersexual black women. That is bad. That is bad. And y'all don't understand what that can lead to. The same way promoting thugs and criminals hurt black men because it led to a stereotype of making people believe that all black men were that, is the same way this will hurt black women and making people believe that we are all over hypersexual, right? And you don't even see the bigger picture, but it's very much problematic. No other community uplifts the worst of their community. You will never see non-black women uplift trailer park trash and allow women who trailer park trash to be the face of them. You'll never let them see them tarnish their image that way, right? But not us. Not us. We'll let Pookeisha get the limelight. We'll support it. We'll get behind it. We'll sing the trash music. We'll stream the trash music. We'll repost the trash music. We think it's funny. We think it's funny until you see the results that come from it. When you see the trickle-down effect of what comes from promoting that image of the person, of the people that you are. I'm not behind it. I don't support it. I don't respect it.
Shout out to Pookeisha though, like man, she went in on Pookeisha.
She did all that without notes.
Combination.
So, all right, Couple questions. So first of all, since Jeremiah isn't here, I'm using her as our conspiracy J of the day. So this is a conspiracy J. Is Sexxy Red an industry plant sent to make black women look bad? That's essentially her conspiracy.
She definitely should be. If she's not, she's. You know what? I was talking to Jeremiah about this with Doja Cat last week. Like, which generation of women or mothers dropped the ball? Because the very first video I came to from Sexxy Red was like it popped up in YouTube, you know. The first thing I saw was, wow, they have come to the point where they have brought the strip club imagery that guys used to promote in their songs, like Uncle Luke and, whatever. They brought this to their own videos. And I'm like,
but that's been happening.
It has, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's the part where I'm like,
because it works. We talked.
Well, the issue is though, that says to me that there's no level of respect you need to show me.
Of course not.
In this situation. So yeah, it definitely has to be an industry plant, because that is not the reality of the way our women are. And it made me hurt as a father of 3 young ladies, because I'm like, I wonder how the father of that young lady feels in this situation. Like, is he gone? Is he around? Maybe he wasn't around or whatever. But to me, it's like, you just can't see that. You just can't imagine. You can't be okay with your child doing that, no matter what age they are, no matter how far away they've strayed from what you taught them. You cannot be okay with that. You just can't.
So a lot of people I saw in the chat were like, who's Sexxy Red? I was going to read some lyrics for you to kind of catch you up, but I literally can't.
Yeah.
Every single line has something I can't say on here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And I haven't heard her. I saw like 2 seconds of the award show where she was talking about what color of her body parts.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Oh, wow. And see, here's the thing, though. We know that in hip hop culture, women have come from being strippers, right? Eve,
Cardi
B, and Trina. But even though they came from that, they kind of like left that to the way they made their money at one time. Not all of them, but I know like Eve has evolved from that. I would say she definitely has evolved from that, because she came out as an artist, did really
like
well, got a television show, right? She married a billionaire. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Here's where y'all are losing me a little bit. This idea that everything was hunky-dory before Sexxy Red, and
no, it wasn't. But like what she said, the Trina thing was bad.
But she's saying it like it was bad, but not as bad as this.
I mean, it was bad, but it was almost like,
listen, nothing new
is
underneath
not as
the
bad
sun.
as this.
It was Lil' Kim, then Lil' Kim to, you could say Trina to Nicki Minaj to Cardi B to Megan to now Sexxy Red. I mean, you got mild to like spicy hot. Like they literally making it worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
and it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, I mean,
so my point is just the separation of that was bad, but to me, I'm like, what level of this are you okay with? Like, it's all been bad. It's all been bad a long time ago. And here's my other thing with the young lady. I don't know if this is a class thing for her or like a faith thing for her. Sounds more like a class thing, because I would say the Drake concert. You're cool with everything he does.
Yeah.
You're cool with all those other artists, but to me it sounded more like that's low class for me. I'm not that low class, and it's like that's okay, fine, but that's not what I care about.
Yeah, right.
What I care about is the promotion of just sin. Period.
Right.
As normalized, as okay, as, because there's a lot of people coming to her defense saying, you know, she could want what she wants, she could do what she wants, she could have sex with who she wants, and it's like the attitude of nobody could do anything wrong if it's what they want. That's the real sin. I don't care if it's for women, men, whoever. That excuse of it's okay because they can do what they want, they own their own body, they could do this and that. That to me has been going on for a long time. So all of the people she mentioned, all the people you just mentioned, it's been bad. It's been over the line, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ain't none of that okay. So a worse version of already over the line is just what's the difference?
I think because you could find Trina in "Okay, Shut Up," and the lyrics weren't like Nan lyrics, right? You can find Eve in "We Gonna Make It," right? And it's not like
so you found enough acceptable about them.
And you can find it. You can say, oh, this song might not be my flavor. I might not be able to rock with this, but that collaboration with this song or this.
But isn't that worse? Isn't that worse?
Not so much because every song is that way.
Isn't it? I would rather you be cold or hot and the lukewarm I spit out my mouth. Like isn't the mixture of kind of okay and kind of not okay worse than you just being blatantly not okay?
I think
so I know
what
to
we're
stay away
dealing
from
with is availability. The biggest problem is availability. Our kids will get to an age where this is what they have in front of them. This is the TikTok. This is the Instagram. We were shielded from that. We had to go and buy. We were shielded from that. We had to go buy the X-rated, the explicit version. Remember, you went to Walmart, you could get the clean version, right? You can't do that anymore. So we're now at the situation.
You can't literally do that still.
Huh?
You can do that.
What I'm saying is, you don't have to do that. Like, it wasn't available. The explicit version was not available to you on a stream, where it is now. Right?
Okay.
When I was back buying CDs, I think the worst CD I ever bought that had the worst lyrics on it was Mace's Harlem World. And it was just a couple.
He's just not good.
Oh no, he's great. He's amazing.
The worst lyrics.
No, because they had songs on there were like,
Bad Boy was gross.
Yeah,
they were super gross.
But what I'm saying is, like, I can listen to the other songs. You know what I'm saying? There was other songs. I could skip those.
But isn't the mixture worse?
What?
Isn't the mixture of, if you can give somebody an excuse of, I could listen to them sometimes because sometimes they make God's plan. Isn't that worse?
Yes, it's worse because you're still not being. I told you the biggest issue with Christians is that they still are supporting everything that the world does. That's the biggest issue, and so you're listening to God's plan, but you're not you haven't moved away from God's plan.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, to me, the artists that have more potential to harm my daughter's developing mind are the ones where half of the time it's okay and half of the time it's not okay. Because then how do you know when to say no or yes to whatever that person does?
And you just build a relationship with that person because you know in their artistry, they made some good songs.
Yeah.
Whatever you could say, like R. Kelly, like, oh, he made some, then you're like some question of decision or even music. You're like, I don't know if I could rock with that, but yeah, I can see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like that, to me, the mixture is a little more confusing. I know 100%, no, you cannot buy Sexxy Red. It's clear. But then when somebody comes out that's like a Chance the Rapper, where I got called by my aunt and said, did you hear about this Christian rapper, Chance the Rapper? It's confusing. You see what I'm saying?
Well, my take on it is you can't listen to any of it. That's my thing. In my household, we only listen to Christian music. We don't listen to none. Well, okay, all right.
Yep.
But what about
Marvin Gaye? All right,
I was going to say that's secular. That's secular versus carnal.
Wait, no, we don't.
About to say.
But what I'm saying is,
Bruno Mars,
like the old school stuff had it in there, but it was like I was listening to some old school stuff. Like I'm listening to some Isley Brothers the other day, right? It's
bad.
there, but you didn't notice it because we didn't call the body.
You didn't notice it.
You didn't notice it because you didn't call the body language out. You see what I'm saying?
There was a lot of
the body parts out. Like that's the part that's different. They're calling out the body parts, whereas you're alluding to the body parts in this situation.
The only difference is that they're just more crass. Like it's just more crass, but it's the same thing. It's the same
snake in the garden. It's not a surprise. It's a snake in the garden.
My parents have listened to the Isley Brothers around me for all of my life, but it wasn't until I got to like my late 30s when I was like, oh, that's what they mean by that. Because it was almost kind of like you're just hearing the beat, the flow, and what people are involved in relationship. You don't really think that they're talking about the bedroom.
So I'll go with you guys and say that it is concerning that it continues to develop and get worse. What do you do about that? Give me some hope that my daughter is going to make it to her adulthood and not be tainted by all of the
Give
stuff
you
that's
some
out
hope?
there. Yeah, give me some hope.
Oh, I'm not joining that party because my thing is my issue
I got
is
a granddaughter. I'm in the same boat you in. Man.
Is it possible for my daughter to make it to adulthood without being corrupted?
Can I be honest?
You saying you're gonna tell me no?
I'm gonna tell you no.
I'm gonna tell you no.
I'm gonna tell you no.
Corrupted.
Because right now, my daughter does not know that my daughter's 10. My oldest is 10. She doesn't know she can have a cell phone. My wife is listening to this in the kitchen right now. She does know now. But she doesn't know she can have a cell phone. She doesn't know that TikTok exists. She doesn't know that Instagram is a thing. She doesn't know these things. We got a couple of more years before she comes home.
Figure it out.
Right. She doesn't know she doesn't even know about video games. She knows I have a VR headset and she can ride a roller coaster, but she don't know that there's a controller that can play video games. Yeah. So it's like there's things they don't know about now, but they'll know about it.
But is she in public school?
She is.
Oh, that's right.
She is. She is. But my daughter is not the type of person that does what everybody else does. She likes what she likes.
So I would say this. To answer my own question, no, it's not possible, but that's not necessarily what I want either, right? What I want for her to be able to do is know that stuff exists, make the choice to avoid it as much as possible, know why she needs to avoid it, not just because I said so, because her love for God. And because I don't want her to not know evil exists. Right. I want her to know evil exists and choose God. That's more important than just not knowing it exists, period, right? So, especially now,
this conversation is making me very uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's sad.
Wow.
But at some point, I'm not saying now, she's 4. But what I'm saying is in high school, that age, she's going to be exposed to things that I and my wife don't want her to know about. But I want her response to be, after building up in Christ, to say, I see you, I want that instead. That's the real victory, not that I'm going to shield her from every possible thing. So then when she finally has to go out, she's going to be defenseless.
Yeah,
I can tell you from my experience, I remember growing up watching Jerry Springer's, and my parents was like, they was like, you know what? You're going to have to write a paper. So every time we had to watch TV, we had to write about what we watch. And it was from that experience I realized, I don't want to live like this. The way these people are living, like that's why I was able to process. I was like, so even for the hope is to, if they do hear lyrics or whatever, have them write about it and see what they're processing and be like, you know what, is this something I want or is this something that's good?
What are you bobbing your head to?
Yeah.
What are you agreeing with?
That helped a lot.
I don't know, man. This is sad. I pray for the young lady because obviously either this is who she is or she is being like the young lady we listened to. She is being programmed by an industry to be planted to do this, to injure us. And if that's the case, I pray that she rejects that with all her might, no matter how much money they promise, no matter what. If they're programming you to be the worst version of a young lady to make money, get away from that. That's the devil himself.
I think my prayer too is, who would want to do that? Pray for the individual that thinks this is a good idea.
Yeah, but what I'm more concerned with is if this is who she really is and she's just expressing herself. God, please heal whatever it is that makes her think this is okay.
Yeah.
And anybody else that thinks this is okay. And anybody else who's being confused by whatever movements are out there to say that no matter what anybody envisions in their mind to do, it's okay for them because they want to do it. That's not true. That is a lie. There is a line, and this is way over it. It's wrong, period. So that's my. I care about her specifically. I want her to get out of this. I want her to stop doing this for her own safety, for her own soul. But for the people listening, it is clear that this is wrong, period.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.